it's been winter.
Yes, we're in Chicago, and the weather is very bipolar here.
Is that the human in you speaking or the golfer?
It's the golfer speaking. I've been struggling 2 days that we could like literally just golf in peace and not be blown away. But yeah. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. All right, what are we talking about tonight?
We're talking about the duty to protect your mate. Who does it belong to? And is it gender specific? Is it the man's duty to protect the woman, or should the woman also protect the man? And this comes from a situation where there was an active shooter, and he was shooting people. I believe it was at a Walmart. And so one lady was actually lucky enough to get out. She and her husband. And so then they got out, and the man was still actively shooting. They got out, and she remembered that she had left her keys and her phone. Yeah, her phone and her keys. And he went back to retrieve them. And, man.
Even though there was an active shooter.
Exactly.
Oh, my God.
And, I mean, it was, it actually worked out in a really good way, because we should probably tell the whole story. That there was another person who encountered the active shooter and tackled him. And the active shooter was, had some level of dexterity, and it got to a point where he needed the help of the husband who had come to retrieve the phone. And then the husband came in and was on some real superhero stuff and beat the brakes off this dude. Mm-hmm. And so, everybody survived. It worked out okay. But my question was, number one, why would you go back in to get a phone? And, at what point is it the wife's duty to say, man, that's that phone.
Right.
We get another one?
Right.
So I was unsure, actually, if the wife asked him to go get the phone, and he was like, oh, let me go get your phone. Or I didn't really understand if it was his idea. But either way, whoever came up with that asinine idea that it was a good idea to go get a phone wasn't thinking clearly. And the partner, who vice versa, either which way, they weren't thinking clear either. So, I mean, you had to, in my mind at that point, reading it, I was like, these are just two stupid people that would voluntarily walk into.
That's not your word, but.
Right, sorry. But yeah,
I wouldn't
walk into a volatile situation.
A life-threatening situation. Volatile is, it's going to be some screaming and hollering. I mean, you got somebody shooting.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother level. And I wouldn't characterize them as stupid, but, definitely reckless.
I'm rolling with stupid.
I don't even think I've ever heard you say that word before.
I've said it a time or two. Yeah. I try not to. I work on it. Yeah. But, my history as a chauvinist is very well documented. And I expect a little bit more out of women. A woman shouldn't have wanted to send, even if, because I mean, men will do
we
anything.
don't know if she did, but if she did.
Let's assume that she did.
Okay.
For purposes of example. Men will do some crazy stuff. I've done crazy stuff in my day. But, the women in my life have always been the ones who were like,
the voices of reason.
Yeah. Or sanity, or reality, or
I like sanity. That's good.
Yes. Because I mean, the stuff I wanted to do was not sane. And see, notice how I didn't use the C word? Mm-hmm. So the things I wanted to do were not sane. And, when I had good women in my life, which was a great deal, they were like, don't do that. That's not a good idea. I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Yeah, they were thinking about the repercussions.
Yeah, and I expect, like I said, I expect more from women.
Well, I think that's wonderful that you have such high expectations of women, and that
and thank you for not saying lofty.
Yeah. Keep those expectations. However, for me, I feel like I have that same expectation of a man in my life, whether it's my brother, whether it's my father, mm-hmm. whether it's my man. I feel like it is his duty, his job to protect me or the family. I'm not saying I sit there and I'm just an airhead and I can't, dot I's and cross T's. I will participate and help and think and all those things that could support a decision. But I do feel like a man needs to be able to protect and make the family, me, whoever it is, if I'm with someone, if I'm with my parent, if I'm with whoever I'm with, he needs to make us feel safe. If not, he shouldn't take on the responsibility of having us out in my mind in his custody. That's how I feel.
I agree with that, and I mean even more nuanced things like protecting the peace. Man, I'm not going to allow something to come into this situation. I know that my sister, my cousin, my whomever is messy, so I'm going to protect. I'm going to protect my mate by not putting them in that situation. So protection is not just physical.
You lost me.
It, in protecting my mate, I have to protect my mate in a lot of ways.
I guess you lost me with the messy cousin.
The messy cousin, the wild cousin, the cousin.
I mean, I guess I lost the context of what we're talking about. Like,
But I'm saying in terms of protecting peace,
that's what
that I'm not going to put
He
my
switched
mate.
over from the physical, from the active shooter to protecting peace.
Yeah, I'm not going to allow.
He just changed lanes.
but how you? I'm still confused. Protecting people. What are you
Because
trying to
I'm not
protect them?
going to allow. I'm not going to put my mate in a situation where they are, with a peace breaker, so to speak.
So that she can't she can't go to the family barbecue because your cousin's messy. That's how you're protecting peace.
That might be one way.
Okay.
Peace breaker.
Yeah, because I lost you there at some point there, so I wanted to kind of leave a clearer trail.
So you're going to say you can't come because my family is messy. So I'll see you when I get back
No,
because I need to protect your peace.
No. If she don't go, I don't go. We not going.
Okay.
We friends at that point. We are not going.
So if your family is messy, you're just not going to go to the event.
Right, I'm gonna protect the peace.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's
I
fine.
can see that.
That kind of goes along with what I said. If you can't protect somebody from a situation, then you shouldn't bring them in the situation. They shouldn't be in your custody of protection.
Well, so as far as the active shooter, and you were saying that it was stupid for them to go. It was. They weren't thinking,
At all.
and you never really know how you're going to react in a life and death situation. It's easy for us to sit on the sofa or chair and say, "I would never have done that." I'm 99% certain I would not have gone back in for a phone, but I have been in an active shooting situation, and my daughter was coming out of a store, and I got out of the car while there was an active shooter in the parking lot of the store. I got out to yell at her to get her ass in the car because she didn't know. She was just bopping out to come get my credit card. Yes.
She was in harm's way, though. You wanted
Right. But
not.
I put myself in harm's way so that she would have, because I was just so like emotional and like, oh my gosh, my child is out
I
there.
get that part.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
You
so
were
I'm just
you were
saying-
actually protecting.
I
Yeah, you
was.
were being
But
honest.
was there a better way to handle it? Yes. I could have just driven my car and swooped in, but I was just like,
But once you got
you
her
know,
and
but
she
so,
said, "Oh,
yes.
Mom, I dropped my phone," you'd be like, "Girl, right. Exactly."
F that phone.
Right.
We going to the
You'd
Apple
be like,
store
"Okay,
now.
I'm gonna dash you."
I would, but I'm just saying, you just never know how you're gonna react. So, but as far as now, I'm switching gears because he did. I'm just changing lanes to keep up with you. You put my turn signal
Right, there you
on, I'm
go.
telling you. Yes. As far as messiness, I hear you on that. So, and I agree. The whole protection thing is very important to me with my man, my friends, like, and I say my friends because I would want my friends to protect me with if someone's speaking ill of my name and I'm not there, I would want them to jump in and protect me and say, no, that's not what it is, or whatever the case may be, however they need to do it to protect me. But protection is very important to me. Physical, emotional, financial. I need to feel like, and if I don't feel that, if I feel that you did not, if I feel unsafe with you, whether it's emotional or physical, I can't date you.
This is to me why it is so important in relationships, intimate relationships, but also friendships, new budding friendships.
Yeah.
That you kind of learn that person and the way they move and the way they shake, because it's easy to have a lot of things in common with people and have some sort of chemistry that brings you together. But if you don't know how they react in situations, or what they're capable of doing, you need to take a pause and take a beat and figure out, do I need to travel with them? Should I drive my own car? Do I need my own egress? You know what I'm saying? So
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
it's, yeah, we've been places, that really ended up, should have been safe, but they weren't safe. You know what I mean? But we had a plan. You know what I mean? And it was spontaneous. It wasn't like, girl, if they come at you, I'm out.
Right.
Or you didn't have that fear, and I didn't have that fear. If we had to scrap to the last second
Yeah.
of the last day,
Right.
that's what would have happened. But for a woman going out with a man, or just like starting a new relationship, you don't know that, because you don't know things until they organically evolve, right?
Mhm.
But you do need to have some sort of sense of who they are in the streets, because everybody who is book smart, look smart, they don't have street smarts all the time. But for me, that's really important, or I don't need to be out in the streets with you.
I've shared this story with you all before, but I was dating a lady and she was in law enforcement, and we were laying in bed and we heard glass breaking. And so, I'm like, I got this, man. I grabbed a thangy thing and I'm like, okay. So I'm like, wait here and dial 911. So she's like, okay. And so, I don't have time to really negotiate with you. I can't come up with a PowerPoint. I need you to do exactly what I told you to do, because in my mind, that's going to put you in the safest position.
Right.
So, man, I'm creeping down the stairs and I look up and she right behind me and she got a gun too. And and in real life, she's a real deadly person. For real, for real.
Right.
But I don't need you to do that. And, you kind of, the chauvinist part of me, that I'm the man, you are the woman, be the great telephone
But that's her
dialer.
job. So
Yeah, she's trained.
She ain't at work.
But she is.
Police
She's
officers,
always.
I
They're
can't.
always at work.
police officers, I was ready to say they're never really off. Yeah.
It's true.
Well, I don't. I'm trying to do this without telling too much information, but as a federal law enforcement officer, you not on the clock like that. I've been there when somebody shot somebody in front of a federal agent, and they waited until the police came and they told them what they saw and drove off.
The thing is this: it was her house, right?
Yes,
It was her domain. She's a law enforcer, officers, whatever you
She
said.
get a
She
check
was
from the
federal,
government.
whatever.
That's how I look at it. I
But
don't see it like that.
she has had training to work with the firearm in these kinds of situations. So even though you're a man and you're familiar with guns, you may not be familiar with her house. You may not be familiar with the things that she feels like is what. Listen, I see you like whatever.
I know, right?
But I feel like
I didn't say a word.
I wouldn't be mad at her. Now, if it was somebody, a lay person, yeah, I would be like, girl, sit down. You know what I mean? But you would have been like under the covers,
I'd
right?
been in the closet.
No, you'd have dialed 911 by accident.
Laying real flat.
I only told you to dial 91. You dial 911.
But you can't be too mad at somebody who has had like legitimate training. I mean, that's what they're.
Okay,
That's her
okay.
job.
Let's because you're basically saying she understands the protocol. Am I understanding that correctly?
She was gonna be a good shotgun. She was gonna
Answer,
play shotgun.
please answer my question.
What?
You're saying that she understands the protocol of how this could go. Is that right or wrong?
Yeah.
Okay, part of the protocol also is following directions.
Yeah, but somebody who is less experienced than her.
Let me say this. Let me
Okay.
say this.
Don't say it.
First of all, she put me in a bad situation, because had I not realized that it was her, I could have turned around and shot on sight.
I doubt. Who are you shooting behind you?
In movement in that situation.
So then you guys are whisper arguing on the stairs.
No, to my credit and to her credit, we did not have that conversation in that instant.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But the second that the area was cleared, it was like I would choke the if you ever in your I mean, I'm going off. Like, don't do that because I mean, if I was somebody else or if I had panicked in that situation, I very well could have turned and shot.
Your finger could have been on the trigger and it could have just gone left.
I mean, I know that much about not having it on the trigger, but if it's a reflex action, especially if I see it before I hear it. Like for instance, if I see a shadow and that shadow cast, I'm turning around shooting because nobody is supposed to be behind me.
Because you gave the order for her to stay there.
I mean, when you see now, you saying it like that,
And
like,
and
like,
you would have
you know, like,
we'd have been at your
oh,
trial.
no, stop. I
You
caught
would have been
that.
at your trial
I
getting
caught that.
character
No. I caught that.
character
You
testimony.
said, she said, you
He's a
can't.
good person, Your Honor. Have you seen Conversations Over?
We discussed this.
He's a male chauvinist. He thought it was a shadow. He didn't know.
But she said I gave the order, like it had been decreed. You are not to move. No, we agreed. And she said yes.
So I'm gonna just get us back on subject real quick.
Please.
There are men out there that feel like women have to or they should be protecting them. And I think it goes to this mindset of they're the prize. Like, you don't protect me, you're gonna be alone. Like, so you need to be protecting this. And I feel like that's how we all have our masculine energy and feminine energy. I feel like that's a very, very, very deep rooted feminine energy that they are bringing about to the surface. I don't know if they really mean it or if it just is a fad or maybe men want to be lazy. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but I don't like it at all.
I'll say this. I'm not going to characterize anyone who behaves like that. I don't agree with it. I wouldn't do it.
You don't agree with what?
A man feeling like that a woman should have to protect him. Now, I do feel like, and we have talked about this many times, that I shouldn't have to fight a woman if it's going to come to that. I mean, if my girl is there, beat her ass. Not my girl beat her ass.
You're not gonna fight a woman, period, are you?
I would hope to not have to.
Not fight. You can restrain, but not fight her,
I
right?
mean, see, now y'all gonna
I mean,
y'all
it
gonna
really-
dive y'all gonna dive deeper into the chauvinist stuff. I don't think that it's any woman that I could get a good punch off and hit her in the jaw and not put her down. I don't believe that. And I know Ronda Rousey and
I mean,
all of these
No,
other ones.
yeah. I ain't talking about that part.
I don't think that there's any woman that if I get a good shot off, I'm not gonna put her down or at least stop her or stun her.
I don't think I believe you. Like women shouldn't fight men, period.
But if a woman is attacking me or
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So he was being attacked.
Oh, I thought he was defending his woman.
no.
And
That,
I thought that's what you were saying.
until she indicates to me that she is not trying to fight, I'm not gonna really get in that. I'm not gonna let nobody else jump on her. I'm not gonna do any of that stuff. But if man, if somebody is out of pocket, man, handle that, baby.
You're talking about with a woman.
With the woman.
Okay.
With a woman.
Okay.
Yeah, we gotta make sure with you, Gary.
See,
Got
y'all,
the Vaseline.
y'all acting like y'all just met me.
Yeah, I know you like, women who fight.
I don't like them. I think that people
You
that are
said
equally
You
yoked.
thought it was sexy.
That doesn't mean that I like it.
Okay.
Y'all acting like y'all just met me.
So, all right.
We've been doing this a while.
Yeah, that.
As a woman who's never had a fight, I don't have siblings. I didn't have any. I've never had a fight. We were taught in school to use your words, and that's what we do. Now I can give you a mean tongue lashing, but the whole fighting thing,
How's your cussing game?
it's not that great. But
Okay.
like I'm so fascinated by people when I see them on social media and they're like really letting people have it. I'm like, oh, I want to learn to like really, but nevertheless, I don't find that attractive. women who go around just like, unless it's your profession, like boxing. 'Cause I do like
Ronda
women's
Rousey.
boxing.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I just the whole protection thing. I think if you're in a relationship, it is your duty to to protect the relationship if that's something that you value.
Hmm.
We protect what we value. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
You protect what you value, whether it's a sweater, a ring, a person's feelings. So you protect that person's feelings if you value them. So
Absolutely.
an employee, you protect them with a good contract
Hmm.
if you value them.
Hmm.
So you protect what you value. Now that means different things to different people. So I think that's where the problem comes in. So like a person might feel that they're being protected one way, and protection to you may be vastly different to
Hmm.
me. So then I'm feeling unloved, unseen, unheard because I feel like I told you that this is what I need and you're not giving it to me. So then they're like the problem. And the communication is so huge. You have to communicate what your needs are and what protection looks like to you and when you're in a relationship, because just saying I want to feel, I appreciate that I feel protected.
The ambiguity in it.
Yeah, ambiguity. Yes,
Yeah.
that is. There's no room for shades of gray if you're looking for a successful relationship. You have to communicate what it is you want. So, like even in dating, even when the relationship is very new, and you might say that that's not a relationship. It is a relationship. It is a relationship that a dating relationship or I just met you relationship.
I'm getting to know you.
It is very new. So you start by slowly communicating your needs, and if you feel like that person's important to you, then you protect that relationship. And as it grows, you might protect it a little bit more. And protecting doesn't mean squeezing the life out of somebody. Like, where are you going? You're not going anywhere, are you? It means like I trust that you won't go out there and embarrass me or do anything that's going to hurt our relationship or make me want to leave the relationship.
In my current relationship, I've got some family that are just really, really great people, and I've got some family that, while they're still my family, they can be pretty nefarious at different. So, in my current relationship, before we go, or I put her in those situations, I'll let her know that, hey, be careful, watch out for this, don't lend no money, you know,
You say don't lend me money.
don't lend no money, just be careful.
Right.
So it's that's my way of protecting her.
Okay.
And because I mean some of them, some of my family is messy, or even my friends groups.
And so when you say messy, what do you mean by that?
They are not,
They're gonna try you.
not necessarily try you, but they're just not people that seek out harmony. They love, things that are not harmonious. They love, strife. They love contention. They love chaos. Exactly, chaos.
I get you.
And so rather than, because I mean everybody is going to defend themselves on some level.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than just blindly send her into that situation, I'm like, be careful of this and don't lend no money.
Speaking a little bit like about what we talked about earlier today, how you value things and you protect them because you want them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You, for the most part, you love them.
They have great value.
They have great value. But here's the thing. So you could have a person who has these values in him already or in her already, that this is the way I behave because I care about this thing or this person or this relationship, whatever it is. And I, I hover or I'm gonna mama bear it, nurture it, and then you have another person who likes to receive all of that. Like they like to consume what you bring to the table. They consume it, not necessarily reciprocate it. And so the nurturer sometimes feel like, I'm doing a whole bunch to keep this thing really protected. I built the wall up around it. You know what I mean? I'm doing all the things.
Yeah.
And
a 68 instead of a 69. I'm just saying.
I was like, is that sexual?
Absolutely.
But
The FCC is calling
Don't act like y'all just met me.
but here's the thing though. So you have this relationship with this dynamic. And thinking back to a friend, I'm not sure the friend is, but you had a friend who recently got married, was married before.
Oh yeah. My
And
childhood friend.
his new relationship, his new wife,
He loves her so much.
he loves her so much, but he was always the consumer of the mama bearing. He was always the recipient of being protected, and this woman was pumping the gas for him, and just treating him like the prima donna. And in this new relationship, the new wife doesn't have to do.
Hush.
Oh Lord.
The FCC is calling you.
That kind of
No,
the
he's gonna be
40th
like,
flip.
oh
You're
my
like,
gosh.
too much. But in the new relationship, he wouldn't have his new woman lift a finger because he values her so
and
much,
I just
right?
love how much
He doesn't want her to break a fingernail. But yet he was, in another relationship and never was that person. And so my question, I guess,
what's going on.
is I'm sorry. I'm sorry, whoever you are. I don't know who you are. I can tell you that.
I'm gonna answer to this. Go on.
What is it? What is it that clicks? Now, let's just say that he never thought he was doing anything wrong. He never thought he was just a sponge. But now he's had an epiphany with the hula. What is it that makes something click in a person to say, "Wow, I should be behaving like this. I should be treating her like a queen." That they become they morph into a whole different person for another person.
There's a very simple and short answer. People do what they're allowed to do. So if a person is allowed to not do something, unless they just really are rooted correctly, they're going to do what they can get away with. So if nothing is being required of him, nothing should really be expected. Apparently, they're in as he evolved, and I don't believe in the whole word epiphany because I can't spell it. I swear there should be an F in there. I know it should be an F in epiphany. So I don't believe in the concept. But I do believe that, in the situation that you were talking about, more was being required. And it wasn't, maybe it was expressly stated, maybe it was, I need to do this. Maybe it was that, he did have whatever that E word thing that you said, you talked about. He had one of those. I don't believe that. I think that more was required of him and he responded accordingly.
So
No.
I don't know.
I don't know that was required. I don't know that it was a situation of he's gonna do whatever he could, if he could get away with it. The first person was a person that pursued him. The second wife was a woman that he has always wanted, and he got her. And when I tell you that when I look at him, look at her, it's so loving, and it just made me. I was like, oh my God, he just loves her so much. And so she's my coworker, and he's my childhood friend. I've never not known him, and I just met
his
her.
name rhymes with.
She told that part.
I might as well.
No. Don't.
No. But my point is, I don't think it was a situation of he couldn't get away. He was doing things because he could get away with it. It was the nature of their relationship. He wasn't doing anything that I think he thought was bad, or it was just the love was different. And I think as he matured, and he probably and did not marry for years, like decades, probably had some good time to think about what his life looked like as we're aging, as we creep closer. Like, he's already retired, she's not, but as we creep into retirement in our golden years, and you think about like how you want to live out your golden years, whether it's married or with a partner or with someone who is that you can just take care of. Like, I have conversations with people like, do we want to get remarried, or do we just want a partner that we can just live out our years with? We can travel and just take care of each other. And some of our girlfriends are like, should we just get a house together and take care of one another? So that's even on the table. So all of those things are worth protecting because those are the thoughts that you have. So the thoughts that he's had were of her, and he protects that.
This guy sounds like a pretty smart fella.
He is a pretty smart fellow.
So he, at some point, had to have recognized these things are not being required of me. And I don't. When I say that, I'm not saying that you have intent to be a low down person. But if I walk through a toll booth and nobody is asking me for the toll, I'm basically a good person. But I'm not gonna stand there until somebody comes to get the money. If I figure out that I can walk through this toll booth, I'm okay with that. I don't set out to do that. I didn't dream about it at night. But if nobody is tolling me at that booth, I'm walking through until I am made to pay that toll.
I get that. My daughter told me, and I thought it was really profound. I had to like really sit with it. But she said, "Mom, you overfunction, so the people in your life underfunction." And I was just like,
It's true.
"Whoa."
You do that. Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's really profound.
it
Okay,
is.
Sydney.
I know, girl. Sydney is full of it.
Oh, y'all name names. Hold on, I didn't get that memo. Wow. Wow. Okay.
But in relationships, like I feel like protection, I don't know, it looks different, like you said, for different people, what that looks like. But for me, it could be like the very little things. It could be, I'm out late. Like it means a lot to me for somebody to say, "Did you make it in?" or text me when you get upstairs, right? You know what I mean? I need to know that just because I'm not in your sight, that I'm not out of mine. I need to feel like I truly have real estate in your heart. That it's not.
And it's not a rental.
It's not a rental, right? You bought it. There's a deed, and my name is on it. I need to feel part of it. I need to feel part of what I feel like we have. And if that doesn't exist for me, there is always going to be a part of me that I cannot give to you because I have to protect myself.
Right.
If you aren't protecting me, I for damn sure need to protect me.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Exactly.
So
That's exactly right.
And that's you kind of got to the point, that if I'm not protecting my mate, at some point she's gonna have to protect herself.
Right.
And in my mind, I definitely feel like it's my job. But if I'm not doing that, I think it's unreasonable for me to assume that she wouldn't or shouldn't, or just because I'm deficient in that area, that she shouldn't provide for herself in those ways.
Yeah. I know you're a male chauvinist, like you say, whatever.
Self-professed.
Well documented.
Self-professed.
30 years in the game.
But there's another side to this. So to me, you can't be a male chauvinist and say, "Hey, I'm the man," and then you don't do things like you see garbage and you don't take it out, or there's snow, you don't shovel it. You can't be the man. Follow me, stay upstairs. I told you to stay put. Don't do that, and then still be the person who is lazy and they won't do the man shit. Like you need to, if you are going to be the man all the way around. Be consistent. However you're gonna be, just be consistent.
Right.
I definitely agree with that. And I mean, you have to, in order for, let me tell you the other part about dating a male chauvinist. A person that's going to listen to whatever it is that I'm stressing, I have to properly motivate them. So in properly motivating them, it is doing those things. It is, an example that they can get behind and not feel foolish. So
Give me an example of that.
I have to do the little things. I have to, open the car. I have to go out there.
So they don't feel foolish.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they don't feel like, man, I'm putting in all of this work.
Okay.
I'm listening to all this. I almost said the C word. All of this
hard work,
different stuff that he's telling me, and man, and his actions are not matching his words,
right?
Or his words are not matching his actions.
Right.
Now, Is that something that you have to work at, or is that just something that you feel like it's innate?
No, I mean, I would love to believe that it's innate, but I mean, the last person that left here that was perfect was Jesus. Everybody else after that kept him with a job. So I
I
mean,
mean,
with
but
it,
it is innate for
but
some people, right?
I think that there are parts of it that are innate, but I mean, there are things that there's always going to be something that you can get better at. There's always going to be something that you didn't realize that you were doing. There's always something that you are getting a C in that you need to get an A in. So there's always room for improvement. There's always things that you could do better or different. And just because, the whole concept of two people getting together, there's going to be stuff that I don't know about you that I'm going to learn and get better
That's not what I really meant. Like,
at.
I
Okay.
understand that we could always get better at things, but you are who you are at the core of you. If I'm not a nurturer, me learning to be one, I'm not saying it can't be learned behavior, but it's not the same thing. For instance, I'll just, for us, we literally take care of each other, right? We do, but it's not anything that we have to be like, okay, what should I do? It's just, you just think about people and you do things for them. You think about people and you check on them. It's just in our DNA. It's just,
I get that part.
so if it's not in a man's nature to be a protector, he knows he's supposed to be one, but he doesn't get up in the morning and say, "Hey, let me check on
Right.
my peeps. Let me check on my girl. Let me check on my kids." If that's not in him, it is always going to be something that he has to always work at getting better about, and he's always going to have to be told because he's falling short. It's just never going to be innate.
I mean, and maybe he's expressing it in a different way. I mean, growing up, I finally, as an adult, before my dad left, we had a conversation. I was like, man, dude, you never told me that you love me. And he was like, did you eat? Did you ever miss a meal? Did you ever go to private school? Did anybody ever come in and threaten you? So I mean, his form of expressing it, was different. I probably, saying that I needed to hear you say it, and he was like, "Man, I'm out here doing it every day, bro. You ate and I didn't eat. You had new stuff and I didn't. You went to space camp and dude, I was eating hot dogs and stuff. Come on, man, stop playing." Space camp, yeah.
Up there with the jet.
Right. We had to rent a helicopter, this kid. But it was, but that told me something. It let me know that when I thought, because I thought I didn't just take that. I was like, so? No, I was like, okay. But I thought about it. And when I thought about it, it was true. And that was him saying, hey, I love you. I love you because of this. And
He was
here's how.
showing you with his actions.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
So I mean that communication part of it is necessary, and people are going to manifest their love and their protection in different ways. My father was never really a gangsterous sort of person, but he was always a fighter in terms of us, and he didn't care about what the odds were, what anything. My father was if somebody was messing with us, they was messing with him, and he would come and you'd be like, Daddy, slow down. He cool. He gonna bleed out. Stop. But he was never that gangsterous type of, I'm gonna knock everybody out of the party dude. He wasn't that guy at all. But in him telling me that, I understood it. And not necessarily in that instance of me saying it, but I understood it when I thought about it and I processed it. I'm like, damn, I ain't never missed a meal. We was eating pretty good, actually. I did go to space camp. So I mean, it's like, I had to think about it and I had to understand it on that level. But I needed, in my world, I needed to hear it. And I was, I kind of concentrated on that and I didn't even realize that I was getting it. And it was speaking to me very loudly. It just wasn't coming out in his words.
So a lot of people who don't do things like that, right? Like, he didn't say I love you, and then let's say when you were younger, you brought it up, not necessarily towards the latter, part of his life.
It wasn't
But
loud. I mean, it was like, 88.
Okay.
You know?
Some male chauvinists, maybe, or maybe not even just male chauvinists, but some people are like, but what about the things that I do? You know, instead of just saying, because to me, if someone is asking for me to tell them that I love them, if they're bringing that to my attention, I I would just be like, oh my God, I love you. You know what I mean? I would just, it's not hard, but it is hard for some people to say the words because they weren't raised that way, or that's just not what makes them feel comfortable. But they are big doers. They show, they give, they're generous.
But
They're that person. But if I have a need, if I express a need that this is what I need to feel, you know, your love or your safety, or just maybe the words mean something to me, because again, it looks different for different people. I would hope that, you know, I would just hope at this day and age that person would be like, you know, it's not in me to say it every day, but I show it every day, and this is how I would just not want that person to take the defensive, you know, role. Yeah, and throw all the things that they do at me, because then you invalidate what I'm telling you that I need.
I get that part, but I mean, I have to, you know, you all think that I'm emotionally handicapped. I mean, man, my dad, he didn't grow up like that. He
Right.
wasn't that dude. And, you know, it made me appreciate even more. My father took his lunch for like 5 straight years. And I'm doing stuff like going to space camp.
Right.
So, you know, and it didn't have to be like that. My father, you know, always earned a good living. My father took care of his family, his mother, and his whatever siblings were still there when he was 15, 16 years old. So for him to say it, yeah, it would have been nice. It would have been great. I would have felt it. I would have received it. But I didn't feel like he was, you know, saying, yeah, well, look what I did do. I felt more like he was saying, you know, this is my way of telling you that. And I'm sorry, you know, I even heard the apology that he also didn't say, you know, that I'm sorry if I haven't done it. But, you know, I was kind of busy.
Yeah.
You know, I had some stuff going on
While you were at space camp.
Right.
while you were in space camp, you know. So, no, I mean, I got it. I received it. And like I say, you know, I'm sitting here telling the story now, like I got it as soon as he said it. It didn't work like that. But it did, you know, there was a part where I really understood it and I could appreciate it. And I even appreciate it to this day.
Do you say the words often?
I tell Zeus I love
He don't deserve it.
him. He loves you.
What a
It's an
dog.
eater.
Zeus is his dog that tried to kill me. But anyway,
With brown sugar.
Hold on.
it's your fault though. You told me to come in the house and you were nowhere near the door. And Zeus looked at me like, come to.
I mean, in the most complimentary
I
way.
reached for the door handle and he turned his whole body around and got into attack mode. I was like, oh.
No. You're looking at this from the totally wrong
Oh,
perspective.
am I?
Yeah,
Oh.
what actually happened was that he looked at you and he was like, "Man, she's been working out. I bet you she's friendly. You know, hey girl, come here."
Yeah, I saw
Let me
all
wrestle you
his
down
teeth.
to the
I
ground.
saw all his
He wasn't gonna wrestle. He was gonna come up and give her a hug. Now he might have stood up, which I'm sure would have scared you even further.
You were like, don't, just come on back. I was like, I am not coming back there.
No, and you know, and he was talking to me during that time. He was like, "Look at her, she's beautiful." I'm like, "I see every day. I get you.
Oh my
I get it."
God.
But he just was telling you that you were beautiful and it looked like you worked out.
Yeah.
That was what he was
So
saying.
you don't have a problem with saying the words I love you?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, and I've had, you know, I was, you know, unlike my dad, I was raised by my mom. So my mom was somebody that she didn't say it a lot, but you know, she told you at the right times. She told you when you needed to hear it, and she told you, you know, sometimes when you know you just did a little stuff. I mean, I stirred the spaghetti for her one time so it wouldn't stick. She was like, "I love you."
Aw.
So I mean, but she wasn't the everyday, all day like, "Before you leave for school, tell me that you love me. I love you." Nah, I ain't had that mother. No. But like I said, I stirred the spaghetti one day, and she was like, "I love you."
Yeah, I love my kids to death. I just love them all day long. Love you. I love you.
And that was
We
a
just
pretty
said
moral
that.
kid too. So to get it, if she even said it once, that would have been plenty.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's a different time.
Mhm.
They grew up at a different time. All right.
Well, we're still trying to figure out when our in person is going to be.
Follow us on TikTok.
Follow us on
Before you
TikTok.
leave here,
And we'll tell
follow
you.
us on
No.
TikTok.
And that's
You
at
want to know? We'll tell you on
Conversations.
TikTok.
Conversations Overheard on TikTok.
Yes.
Please follow. We'd appreciate it.
And will we be here next week?
No.
Oh yeah.
Yes. No. We'll be here.
What?
I don't leave. The 4th is like Thursday.
Oh,
Yeah. We'll be here.
I think so.
Okay.
Can't remember.
I can't remember.
Yeah. So we'll be here next week, but
No, we won't be.
we won't be next week. Tuesday.
I just thought about it.
All right. So we will not be here next week. And then we have Juneteenth coming up.
Mhm.
So yeah, we won't be having a show in June, guys. That probably won't happen.
Oh, you mean in person?
In person, yeah, and in person in June. But didn't we talk about like the second week of July?
The 3rd week of July.
The third week.
Oh, did we? Okay. All right.
Have you all told them about the punishment?
Oh Lord, what is the punishment?
Right.
Gary?
You fell
Yeah.
for it.
No, because
Lord.
if they hold on, see now, I believe that we sat there in the meetings, we talked about it, y'all agreed. If the people have not followed us on Conversations Overheard
On
on
TikTok.
TikTok, and we see you in the streets, it's gonna be a problem.
This one here.
This one, right? We're nonviolent.
We are very non-violent.
No, hold on with all that French stuff. I'm violent as hell. So let me catch you and you ain't got TikTok.
All right, he's tired, guys. It's been a long
He
day.
needs to go to bed.
It's not time for me.
Put the baby to bed.
Yeah, come get your man. All right.
I
All right.
didn't even
Follow
know.
us on TikTok. That's our last ask. We will have a great night and we will see you soon.
See you next.
Mwah.
See you in a couple weeks.
Goodbye, everyone. Good night, sweetheart.
Well, it's time to go. Ba-da-da-da-da.
Good night, sweetheart.
Oh,
Good night.